Hello everyone, Eleana's everything. 2 years ago, I always returned to the safari park and the safari zoo. But now, I want to share one of the old videos I have, specifically the Africa Tram. I am not confident to vlog or how I should speak with my cameras. But this time, I'm comfortable and more, I'm having fun. So see you now.
Good afternoon and welcome aboard, everyone. Raise your hands if you can hear me.
Perfect seats.
Awesome. Raise your hands if it's too loud. A little too loud. Does anybody think it's too quiet? A little too loud and a little too quiet. So I'm going to leave it here to work for most people, but we're waiting for our last guest to join us. So hang tight, and for now, hopefully you can enjoy the Lola Nyala out of the driver's side. The female and young have an orange tan coat with white stripes going up and down their body. The male is in there somewhere as well. He has a brown shaggy coat and horns. So hang tight and we'll be off soon. We typically want them back. If it's just a personal belonging, try to make note of what area we're by. And quick tip, if you say we were by the giraffe, well, animals like to move sometimes. So try to make note of structures or trees and let me know after the tour's done. I'll arrange to have that picked up for you. Lastly, please stay seated while we're moving. I'll stop several times so that you can stand and take pictures, but once we start moving again, I just ask that you sit back down so that we can continue to make our way forward. But now that all of that boring stuff is out of the way, my name's Mara. I'm going to be your driver and guide for the next 25 to 30 minutes, and hopefully you're excited to see some animals, because we have a lot of cool things to see out there. Now, if you're at all curious about what the covered trucks are doing in the middle of the field on the driver's side, those are our Caravan Safari, the only tour that goes inside the field, and you have the opportunity to feed the animals. If you want to learn more about that, head over to the ticket booth across from the tram station after you exit. But on the passenger side, at the very, very left of the exhibit, hanging out in the shade of the trees, you can see land's fastest animal, currently going 0 miles an hour. It is the African cheetah. You can see it in the shade of the trees. By slowly, it looks like some of you can see it already, but point it out to your friends as well. At top speeds, cheetahs can reach almost 70 miles an hour. But they can only maintain that for a few seconds. Anything longer and they risk overheating. Now on occasion, sub-adult males will form a coalition, so a group of cheetahs is called a coalition. But for the most part, they spend so much time and energy trying to get those kills that they don't want to share it with anybody else, so they're primarily solitary in the wild, unlike the greater flamingos coming up on the passenger side. You can see a couple of chicks in the water. They're the small gray poops. If that didn't give you the hint, it's nesting and breeding season for them. And the ladies here are southern white rhinos, who are doing a lot of important work breeding for us, because rhinos all over the world are getting poached for their horns. Now run your fingers through your hair. Cut your fingernails. Congratulations, because you all just touched a rhino's horn.
So your hands
Kind of.
stuff that a rhino's horn is.
They're made out of the exact same thing, which is keratin. But unfortunately, somebody decided that rhino's keratin is a lot more precious than ours, and now every living species of rhino is either endangered or critically endangered, which makes the breeding work that we're doing with them here even more important. And we've been pretty successful because we've had 97 southern white rhino babies born at the park. But it doesn't seem like any of the pelicans are terribly impressed by that. You can see some greater white pelicans and Dalmatian pelicans on the island on the driver's side. And as you can see, they're a pretty large bird, so they tend to nest on the ground. The problem is the rest of the animals that we have out in the field migrate and herd. He didn't want those eggs to get trampled, so he gave the pelicans an island, because it's a nice, safe place for them to raise their young. That's actually why a lot of local wildlife call the safari park home as well. Not only is it an incredibly safe place for them to raise their young, but there's also a lot of free food. And being a broke graduate student myself, I can definitely appreciate going to where all the free food is. And our keepers are aware of that too. So they put out about 10% more food every single day in order to offer kind of a free lunch program for our local wildlife. Which is pretty neat because when you think about it, it was their home before it was ours. So we want to try to coexist with them as much as possible. And one of the things that allows all of these animals to coexist with each other is the amount of space that they have. There's plenty of room if there's ever any conflict for one individual or even an entire species to go to one corner of the exhibit and the rest. And something that a lot of animals will do to stay safe is hang out around a tower of giraffes. The group of giraffe is called a tower, and it looks like we're coming up to a tower right now on the driver's side. A giraffe are known as the watchtowers of the savannah because an adult giraffe can see almost 2 miles in front of them without prescription glasses like I have, so I'm super jealous of that. The animals like the eland hang out around the giraffe to stay safe. Now we're keeping the baby giraffe safe in the boma right now. They're still new to the enclosure out here, so they're still learning how to giraffe and figure out how to stay safe in here. Now, their necks are one of the things that allow them to see so far. Believe it or not, giraffes actually have the same number of vertebrae in their necks. Now that face mask also kind of acts like sunglasses. Similar to how some athletes will wear black painter tape underneath their eyes to prevent their reflection from the sun, the gemsbok just do that naturally. And contrary to popular belief, ostriches don't naturally bury their heads in the sand when they're scared. No, instead they run. And they can run almost 40 miles an hour at top speeds. So those legs are pretty powerful. In fact, they're powerful enough to crack a lion's skull with one kick. So the lion will probably have a better opportunity to go after something like the Somali wild asses coming up on the passenger side. They have that lavender gray coat that helps them blend into the sand around them. But check out those black stripes going across the front of their legs. Those are called follow-me marks. And it helps them follow each other when they migrate long distance. When it comes to the red-fronted gazelle on the passenger side, well, that coat helps them blend into the open grasses. It looks like there's a couple of them sparring. Kind of in the center of the enclosure. Oh, somebody just came and broke it up. That's a very natural behavior for them. Sometimes it is to establish dominance. It could also be play. That's how they practice fighting. But again, it's a very natural behavior that you would see out in the wild. And we want to make sure that these animals have the opportunity to exhibit all of those natural behaviors. Now, how many of you have never been to the safari park before? Welcome, and welcome back to the rest of you. Looks like we have a lot of people coming back. If you're not familiar. Now, that's not quite true for the road antelope. They're the larger tan antelope on the driver's side. They have that black and white face mask and horns that curve back slightly. Both the males and females have horns, so their resources are more limited in the wild, and they may have to compete for them, sometimes against their own herd mates. But my favorite part about the road antelope are their massive ears, because they always remind me of Dobby, if you're a fan of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And those ears act like satellites. So if you take a hand and cup it behind each ear, you'll notice that it actually improves your hearing. And that's exactly how it works for the road antelope as well. So they're able to communicate with each other from a distance, and that helps keep them safe. Now one thing you don't have to see at a distance are the greater kudu, the larger tan antelope with the white stripes going up and down their body. You can see the male with the beautiful corkscrew horns. We just learned that he uses those to woo his lady friends and win fights. But those white stripes help break up their body shape. So when they're in the shade of the forests, it's a little bit more challenging for a predator to see them, right? That's why they have stripes, because they don't want to be spotted. One thing you should spot pretty easily is coastal sage scrub on the passenger side. It's a native habitat of Southern California, and it's a biodiversity hotspot, meaning there's a large concentration of plants and animals that call it home, like mule deer, coyotes, rabbits, hawks, and owls. But it's also the most endangered habitat in the continental U.S. We have less than 10% of the original habitat remaining. So here at the park, we have about 1,800 acres on our property. And just around half of that is undeveloped and will remain that way, so that we can continue to provide a nice safe home for our local wildlife. And you can help out your local wildlife by breeding. So a really easy way to help out the animals is to respect their habitat.
Hi! So, we're from the bus and we're here at the Escondido. Oh my god, I thought the second time I thought it should be at the Balboa downtown, but it's not. Oh my god, sometimes I'm dumb, but I'm not. I hope you will see the information in my video, and of course the Africa Tram is an exciting expeditions with safari tour vehicles and our diverse wildlife, creating a relaxing adventure. Well, it started 9 a.m. Well, it will be busy 11 until like 3 p.m. So you should move. You will give the chance to connect with wildlife on a closer level. Well, approximately it will be 25 minutes. So I hope you will try this Africa Tram. See you next time. Eliana's everything.